Good morning, friends. It is, what should we call it? Muscle Movement Monday.
Oh, I like that.
Muscle Movement Monday. I'm doing my shoulder roll like our granddaughter does. That's how she dances. She does it like shoulder, 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 shoulder. Anyway, so if you've been watching for any amount of time, you know that I was having a whole bunch of issues that I think are unrelated, but maybe not. When I went to the cardiologist for some heart questions, he thought that what I'm having is a lot of muscular skeletal issues because this here is affecting like the ache down my arm, I don't even remember what else, but and then it could cause some issues that feel like they're here, but they're really kind of the muscle around it. And I am going to have a stress test to make sure because there's no way to know that for sure. So please, we're not telling you, we don't give you medical advice. Check with your doctor.
Never.
But that was really interesting to me that because I kind of know that anyway. I'm like, yes, I know I walk, but I'm not really using this area to do some strength training. And for whatever reason, I don't know why we avoid that because it really feels good when we do it, to kind of tone up some areas and just move that a little bit. But the good thing is, I mean, my PT gave me like exercise bands and I took them on that cruise and it was like 5 minutes of like, I put it through a doorway and did this. And there was a stretch one like this way. And then, oh, I know some leg things too, which they think is the IT band. Folks, I was like falling apart. So the PT gave me a band to like put around my legs and stretch them this way when I'm even just sitting.
Yep.
And he said, just do stuff like throughout the day. It doesn't have to be crazy. When you brush your teeth, do the neck exercises he showed me. When I'm at the sink, kind of do some finger things against the sink. So I think what happens is we just don't move as naturally as we once did. There was a time when we were moving because we were younger and we were moving.
Yeah.
And as we get older, I think we sit more. I do. And I do a lot of reading and writing where I'm sitting. And so what's happening is there's a lot of this and instead of opening that area up. So it's just really interesting that it could feel like cardio or feel like other weird things that it may be all this area. Really interesting.
Yeah. So that was the other thing that we were talking about, is just, we want to find ways that we can move and be stronger and things that we can use from now until we take our last breath. So that's why having like just, I think sometimes the simple movements, it seems like, oh, well, I can't possibly be doing anything, but it is. It's kind of like even when we talk about just getting a couple extra steps in by parking further away or using the stairs instead of the elevator. Like, especially if we start at a position where we're still able to do those things, it's like, oh, that's not doing anything, but it is. And the longer we can continue to do those things, the more beneficial it is to us as a whole. You know, I think that's why so many times it's like, well, that's simple to just park a little further away. What could those extra 20 steps really be doing for me in the long run? But if you continue to do those 20 steps as we get older and older, and you can still do that, it's just beneficial. Everything that we do is beneficial. And we're either always going in a positive direction or a negative direction. It's a fact of life where you're never stable. So if we're not doing something to promote good health, then our health is declining, even if we're not doing anything that we think is detrimental. If we're not paying attention to making it better, it's going to decline.
Yeah, it takes a lot of intentionality. We've talked about that before. Our bodies are very forgiving for a long time. That's why we think, well, how come I've done that forever and I never had an issue, or because eventually our bodies start a downward.
Yeah,
they just do. I mean, anything that gets older, we know starts to lose some of its whatever. So yeah, it's being very intentional, where before we didn't have to be. Our bodies, we could do all kinds of stuff in our 20s, maybe 30s even, and our bodies were like, okay, it would repair itself, and all of a sudden it's not. So it's being very intentional. And I thought of something when you were talking and I forgot, but that's okay. But But yeah, just that movement throughout the day, it doesn't have to be crazy, just little movement. Oh, I know. Just 5 PT sessions and a little bit of me doing stuff in between. I was able to improve my strength, my range of motion, and it wasn't anything crazy, friends. It wasn't. He did tests before and after. I didn't notice a difference. And he goes, oh yeah, when you first came in, because he measured, you couldn't turn your head that far. You couldn't, and I was like, that was 5 PT sessions. And then I did some exercises in between, but honestly, I didn't do a lot because 2 weeks I was on a cruise and I didn't do a ton.
Yeah.
Just those little things. And literally it's moving our head. It's kind of doing these things. It wasn't anything crazy, but we have to do it throughout the day. And we've got to keep this open or we start to get really stooped.
Right.
And I think our phones now too, we're looking down our phones and, yeah. So yeah, it's crazy how little things add up to results. And
absolutely. Yeah. So do a little bit, not have to be crazy, but just do a little bit every day. Yeah. Do Deb's
put on some music like our 2-year-old Ellie and shoulder, 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 shoulder. Oh my gosh, it's the funniest thing. It's like, anyway, put in some music and move because that's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, friends, we will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.